Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, where food and fitness come to hang out. Nutrition, training, and life. It's all fair game on Meathead Test Kitchen.
Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, a podcast about food and fitness. I am Sadie.
I'm Sausha.
Today we're going to answer a question we've both asked ourselves and have had people ask us in the past. I feel like a lot of our episodes actually are just like, hey, this is a question someone's asked us in the past.
Yeah.
This is no different. The question being, why should I hire a trainer or coach? And that is a really, really good question because there are a million different training methods out there. There are a million different trainers out there. And ultimately, the decision's going to come down to what can fit into your budget. However, that does not mean that you can't afford a quality trainer on a budget. So you just need to know what to look for. We're going to explain why hiring a coach is a game changer. You're going to get better results. You're going to get a personalized approach. And there's more to it than just fitness. Plus, we'll give you some tips on what you should avoid when you're looking for a coach.
Yeah, that's also very important.
Yes.
You're going to see better results with a coach as long as you're willing to put in the effort. You've been working out and eating better for months, but you've stalled out or not seeing the results that you want to see. You're not losing the inches that you want to lose. Your clothes are still fitting the same. We've all been there. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, we have been there.
Oh my goodness. It is so frustrating, but hiring a coach and doing some research is going to help you reach your goals by assessing whether or not your goals that you've set for yourself are realistic, if they're achievable. If they aren't, your trainer will help you tweak your goals to make them more manageable in smaller chunks to build up to the big end goal.
And that's not saying that your goals or what you have laid out for yourself isn't a good goal or that it's not attainable. It just might not be attainable right away.
Right. And it might be too big of a goal.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to pare it down a little bit and approach it in a different way.
Everybody says they want to lose 30 pounds, but you're not going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days.
Right.
Unless you have a tapeworm or like Oregon Trail cholera diarrhea or anything like that.
Or you're not eating sufficiently.
Or you're not eating.
You're starving yourself to get there.
You're not going to lose.
Do that.
You're not going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. So if that's your goal, to lose 30 pounds in 60 days, in 90 days, your trainer's going to look at that and they're going to be like, all right, that's a good goal. That's a good goal to have. Yeah. That's a good number. That'll put you in a healthy place. You're going to look great. You're going to feel great. That, however, the number is not going to be achievable in that amount of time. So they'll help you break it up, maybe 10 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that is attainable, achievable, but that you can make the building blocks of sustainability to actually get there and then continue to build on those goals in the long run.
Because half the battle for training, especially, and nutrition, is like everybody focuses on when you get there, but then nobody knows what to do once you're there.
Right.
Everybody puts so much on the, how do I get there? I want to get there as fast as possible. Well, A, it's not going to be fast. Yeah. B, you there may change about 80 million times in the process. So you just want to make sure that you are working with somebody that's going to help you break up those big goals into more manageable pieces that will be attainable in shorter periods of time, which will keep you motivated. It's going to keep you feeling good. Yep. It's going to make you confident. The other thing that coaches will do, which will help with your results, is give you variety. Variety is, we know the saying, the variety is the spice of life. And it's definitely necessary with fitness because when we make our own workouts, we often avoid the things we don't want to do. You know what I fucking hate to do? Burpees.
Oh,
you know what I
love burpees.
You know what I never program into my own workouts?
Burpees.
Never.
Oh, really? With the programming you make for everybody else has lots of them. I see how it is.
Yes. Do as I say, not as I do. Duh. Hello.
Well, for example, in my case, I hate doing pull-ups and push-ups. I hate them. I don't like them. I'm not great at them. But the goals that I have set out for myself require me to do that work because it is strength that I need to have for my long-term goals, which in many cases for myself is lifting more weight.
Yep.
I have to have that strength in those areas, so I have to do those things. Your coach will program in the stuff that you don't want to do, but thinking big picture-wise to get you to your goals. You're going to know how to do those movements properly as well. G.I. Joe's right when he says knowledge is power.
Please don't sue us.
Sidebar, please don't sue us.
Please don't sue us.
A good trainer is going to adjust your programming to make exercises more effective as well. They'll do that by pointing out mistakes in your movements, for example, and then suggest more efficient and better ways to perform said movements. don't take it as an attack. Like, it is a positive critique to get you to where you want to go.
That was hard for me to not take it personally when my movements weren't great when I started, but you're just starting. Your movements aren't going to be great. That's part of the territory. And that's again why it's beneficial, in our opinion, to hire a coach or a trainer, because you will have somebody that will be form tweaking you, form checking you constantly. And especially when you get into more like complex arenas of fitness, like if you want to start doing CrossFit, or if you want to start doing Olympic lifting or powerlifting, or anything that you're going to move some serious weight around or do some very high level cardio, you're going to want someone that knows their shit.
Yeah. I feel like it's super necessary, especially in the arena of like CrossFit or Olympic lifting.
Oh God, yes. That's where
those
it's the
movements
most
are
important.
really difficult. And there are things that you have to do that you may not, because it's like so quick, the movement is, but there are so many things that you have to do in that short amount of time to do the movement properly. You want somebody's eyes on that.
You miss out a lot in Olympic lifting when you don't have someone yelling verbal cues at you. And I have learned that as someone that went from working out in a gym went to training by myself after COVID. You know, I mean, Phil will come out and yell cues at me or whatever. Yeah, like, hey, straighten your back and fucking pull.
Screw your knees or feet into
the
the ground.
Screw your knees though. You're gonna have snatches
Twist
today.
them out.
Yeah, screw your knees. But screw your feet into the ground. Stuff like that. It's just not the same when you're doing it by yourself to start versus when you have somebody there with you. Having that extra person there is really, really important. But looping back to the criticism, like, you do have to be receptive to some level of criticism.
Well, and here's the thing too, like, even coaches have coaches because you're not going to be perfect at every movement all the time, 100% of the time, especially when you start adding weight to things. There are things that might be lacking. Like, for instance, my front squats.
Yes.
The other day, I sent Sadie a video because I wanted to know if it counted if my legs were parallel enough. But she pointed out the slight curve in my upper back, which means that I need to do more movements to strengthen that upper back so I'm not caving in.
Yep.
To do the movement properly.
Your legs were good.
I was so happy.
And as a client, sometimes if you've never had a trainer before, or if you've never worked out before, criticism from a trainer should sound like, hey, this movement looks like it's at a good foundation. However, we're going to need to tweak X, Y, or Z.
Right.
So like when Sasha
want you to
sent
focus
me,
on this.
Yeah, Sasha sent me the video and I said, hey, those legs are good. However, your upper back is falling. So that means we need to work on your front rack. That is completely acceptable criticism from a coach, a trainer, a friend, anybody that you look up to. How much criticism should you take? We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Coaches are going to help you stay motivated. You're going to avoid burnout. If you're working with a trainer, you're way less likely to be fucking around while you're in the gym. One,
resting 10 minutes in between each movement.
Yes. One, because you have money invested. Two, because someone's around to keep you on task. So they're going to help you stay motivated when you hit those plateaus, because they're going to happen. They always happen.
Yep.
They're frustrating as hell every time. It doesn't matter where you are. If you plateau, that shit sucks.
Yep.
And you want somebody that you can vent to that's going to help you like push through that.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes
a lot of people quit.
Sometimes cycles are typically 4, 6, 8 week increments. And that can get boring because you're doing the same exercises for a month, month and a half, 2 months straight.
Yep.
But they're necessary to build those muscles and those muscle groups and get that strength up before you go on and progress to the next level of what you're going to be training.
Speaking of things I hate doing that I used to have programmed and that I still do because it's necessary, hollows and arches. One of my previous trainers programmed those for me all the time. Yep. And when it comes to coaches, you hire a coach. I used to have a coach that was a high-level competitive CrossFit athlete, and she had a coach as well. Like, Bama Burr has a coach, and she is a world record holding power lifter. Like, that's the correlation that I take away from seeing people with coaches is that you're not guaranteed to have success when you hire a coach, but you're also not guaranteed to fail. And you're going to get as much out of it as you put into it in the process.
Absolutely.
So if you have that person teaming up with you, you're more likely to succeed.
Absolutely. A trainer is also going to help you avoid making excuses and scheduling difficulties because their job is to work around your schedule.
Yep.
A good coach will help you create a program that fits into said schedule, including very detailed instructions on what to do on days when you train by yourself or if your coach can't be there.
And that'll happen. I mean, it's bound to happen eventually. Yeah. Sometimes your coach is going to go on vacation and you're going to be on your own for a couple of days. It's okay. As long as they leave you very detailed instructions and send you videos, and then usually they'll kind of hand you off to another trainer in the interim, like, hey, here's your workout. If you need anything, talk to this person.
Right.
That's pretty standard procedure.
Yeah.
You'll also avoid injury by working with a trainer, and I feel like this is probably the most important part of working with a trainer, is avoiding injury, because that's going to sideline you quicker and longer than anything else in the game. Right. Like we said earlier, you're going to learn how to do these movements properly, and this is the biggest component of avoiding injury. You're also going to have someone around to spot you when you can't get that barbell back on the rack, or that chest press just ain't coming back up. Nobody wants to have a chest press crush their sternum or their
or have
throat,
to drop off in a gym setting.
You don't want to break your esophagus with a barbell. That does not sound like a good time. You also need someone to hold your feet while you're learning how to do handstands so you don't fall on your face. You know, that kind of stuff is invaluable.
Absolutely.
That's really another large component of why you should hire a coach.
Yeah. And when you're hiring a coach or a trainer, you should be getting someone that's an authority in their field. And with that, you'll receive a completely custom tailored programming and training plan to fit your body type, your goals, your nutrition, and your abilities.
This has been like the most interesting thing for me to learn while I'm going through personal trainer certification is how to program for different body types and different just bodies in general. Like, hey, you can't do this movement, can't do this or whatever. Like, and adaptive training is really cool too. And
having scaling options for, some days you're going to be super sore and you might not be able to do a barbell back squat. So you'll do body weight squats that day just to,
and you'll
get
just
those
do more
muscles.
of them.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, your trainer or your coach is likely to help you clean up your diet, which is always a bonus. That's going to help you a lot if you're having a hard time putting the right foods into your mouth, which is okay. It happens to all of us.
Right. And it's a hard thing to transition out of if you've been eating a certain way for a long time.
It is. Relearning how to eat, retraining your brain on portion sizes and all of that jazz. Like, it's funny. Like, your brain remaps your taste buds after a while. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I can't eat a candy bar anymore.
Not the same way.
My soul.
Depends.
Has to be a very small
As a woman,
one.
sometimes I can.
Oh, there are days.
Usually it's because it's, specifically surrounded by hormones.
Sometimes there are days where you take down that entire king size Snickers in 3 bites. It happens.
Yeah.
Trainer, your trainer's going to understand that.
Yes,
too.
Exactly. Well, and it's not, we say this a lot, but it's not going to, one candy bar isn't going to derail your progress.
No.
It's just the habitual eating of a candy bar every day that might.
Just don't do it every day.
For me, when I hired a trainer, that was the most valuable part to me, was the nutrition part, because I had no idea how much more I needed to be eating and of what to get to where I wanted to go.
Yep.
I bring up the half marathon a lot, but that was the last thing I trained really hard for. I had no idea how I was supposed to be eating, when I was supposed to be eating. But having a trainer to keep me accountable for those things, and I had a chart. I had to fill out a chart every single day of the week. How much fiber are you eating? How many grams of carbs, protein, fat? What did you eat? How did you feel after this day? How did you feel after your long run?
Yep.
Those things are super invaluable, and it's still to this day things that I think about and keep in mind in my toolbox.
Yeah.
Now I'm super aware of it just because I did pay a trainer for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's another thing that you should think about as well, is some sort of a logbook to log your training if you would like.
Even
some
a notebook.
Yeah.
But we've got templates.
Yeah,
too.
we've got freebie pages up at meatheadtestkitchen.com, so you can go check that out.
A trainer or coach is also going to evaluate your movements to see what needs work first.
Yes.
This goes back to setting you up for success as well. And there will always be introductory stuff that you'll have to do, because you need to have a solid base when you're really ready to dig into whatever training style you picked. Whether they're in person or you have a virtual coach, which is super popular now, I always recommend filming yourself for 2 reasons.
Yes.
One, you can look back at that meme where it started, how it's going. I look back at my first, when I started kind of transitioning into more CrossFit style. Oh my God. I was laughing. Because it's a stark difference. But that's for your own personal reference, but also to send to your coach so that they can see your movement and do a couple different angles from the side, from the front.
I still have my first before photos.
Oh, I do too. Oh,
they're
goodness.
in a hidden folder.
Little spaghetti.
On my iPhone.
That's what I was.
Oh, I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Pastiness and in volume, crammed into a bikini. Yeah, it's awful. But they're there. And it's fine. Like, that's why you keep them, just to remember how far you've come.
It's really difficult, too, I think, when you see yourself every single day. Like, if you haven't seen somebody in a year, they're going to see the results that you're not seeing because you see yourself every day. Yeah. It's also just like a reference point and to, like, pat yourself on the back a little bit, too.
Yes. Your trainers should also, they can, and they should, program around injuries. As long as it doesn't hurt your entire body to move, you should be able to work out, and you should try to move your body in some fashion, even when you're injured. A trainer's going to help you with some rehab exercises. They'll also help you train around like that bum foot or that angry shoulder. Like your arm might be pissed, but that doesn't mean you can't do some cardio. Yeah. Or your foot might be mad. You might have broken your pinky toe and you can't squat for 8 weeks. So you're going to do everything else. No leg days for you.
Right. On that same token too, they're going to provide programming to avoid those injuries.
Yes.
And can offer mobility training for those areas that might be tight, like your hips and your shoulders. Like that for me, like just knowing and having those mobility exercises helped a great deal to prevent injury, but also to keep those joints and everything liquefied.
Yes. One of my trainers had me actually read the book Becoming a Supple Leopard, and that book is great. Hopefully someday we can have Kelly Starrett on the show. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Becoming a Supple Leopard is a must if you want to do weight training in any serious form. I feel like that and Starting Strength are like the 2 books that you need to read if you're going to get into weightlifting. And we should probably start that Meathead book club at some point, but we haven't done that yet. So just make sure that you're listening to your body, but you're also listening to your coach. The other thing that your coach is going to do is at some point, they're setting you up to eventually be able to train on your own. Now, there's always going to be exceptions. But for most people, they don't necessarily want to work with a trainer forever, and that's okay. Your trainer knows that. Your trainer's goal is to arm you with the best information possible so that when you do go out on your own, you're ready to kill it. Yeah. They want you to be prepared. They want you to be informed. They want you to know how to avoid injury. They want all of those things because they want you to succeed.
Right. Exactly. I kind of think of coaches and trainers as like an accountability buddy.
Yes.
You're paying them to help keep you accountable. You're paying them to maybe be your therapist. At times,
yes.
You're going to scream at them because you're pissed off because things are going to hurt. And not like you're going to actually injure yourself. I just mean they're going to push
sometimes.
You to the max that you can possibly go, and that's kind of what they're there for. You can put them in line with your hairstylist or your tattoo artist, which are also therapists. And you get to know your trainer really well if you hang out with them a lot, and they're probably going to end up becoming a friend of yours.
Even though I told them to fuck off constantly, my first 2 trainers are still some of my best friends, and they're actually like 2 of the people that pushed me the most to be like, hey, you should go get your certification because you know what you're talking about. And I'm like, do I? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I hope so. Thanks, guys. Coaches build confidence. See, there you go. Both inside the gym and out. The gym can be a really scary place if you don't go there much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I know people that are terrified of the gym, and that makes me so sad. Because the gym has been, I used to be terrified of the gym as well. So don't feel alone if you're scared of the gym. We've all been there. But the gym has become like such a vital component of my life and my mental health, and just like what I do is like routine that like I don't know what my life would be like without it at this point. So, and
I just recently switched up my training, and like before I would make excuses not to go all the time, like constantly. Like I'm tired. That's where the find a way, not an excuse, like came up and was huge for me. Like go anyway. But if you have a trainer, you're going to want to go anyway, because otherwise, why are you paying them? Like, it's kind of, you're wasting your money at that point.
I mean, the only person that's losing out there is you, because they're still getting paid. The gym's still getting paid. You're just the one that's going to miss out on, doing whatever you had planned to do. Right. So don't do that to yourself. But your trainer's going to be your biggest cheerleader when it comes to your self-confidence. They're going to cheer you on when you're crushing your PRs, and they're just going to be kind of a confidant on your journey. So the confidence that you gain in the gym will translate to outside the gym at like a millionfold after a while. You just have to stick with
one
it
of your
long enough.
snowflakes for your snowball that creates your snowman. Like I can't, even if it's like just a one like cycle that you have this trainer for, just to get like the basics, it's so honestly really invaluable. Just to give you that initial confidence, because that initial confidence is going to keep you coming back. And I guarantee you that, because we both went through this.
Yes.
That little bit of confidence, like in the snowball effect, like that's what keeps you going back, because that turns into discipline. After you have a taste of that and how good you feel about yourself because you're doing something for you, it's amazing.
The first high five after you do a squat properly is like the best feeling. It took me over a month to learn how to properly do a body weight squat. So if you have not learned how to do a proper body weight squat and you are a couple weeks into a month or two in, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's normal. Like there's a lot of shit to keep in mind when you're doing a squat. It's, you know, heels and knees over toes, but your knees don't want to go in, and then your back needs to be straight, and you're dropping your hips straight down, and your shoulders are back, and your head shouldn't be looking down, but it shouldn't be looking like it's just a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of stuff for a simple movement, right?
Exactly.
So that is where like you do it, and then you do it right for the first time, and then you remember how it feels, and then you'll always do it right from then on.
Yes.
Fuck fear. You are not going to go into the gym and spontaneously combust if you do something wrong. Nobody's going to turn around and point it. Nobody.
No.
I have eaten shit straight up belly flopped on the gym floor before. Yes, everybody stopped and looked because I weigh 165 pounds and am almost 6 feet tall. So I made a very loud smack sound when I hit the ground. But nobody laughed at me. Nobody pointed at me. Everybody was like, shit, you good? It's like, yeah, I'm okay.
Everybody's there for like themselves. Yeah. So like no one's going to be, and honestly, when you're working with a trainer, like that's the only thing you're focused on. I know that sounds maybe counterintuitive. Like you're super self-conscious when you go into the gym for the first time. But when you start working with a trainer,
you get that interaction and it kind of distracts
you. You're only focused on that because you want to get it right. Like you want to do it right. You're probably sweating and you're pissed off because they're kicking your ass. You're not, trust me, you're not fucking paying attention to anybody else in that gym, and they aren't paying attention to you either.
The only time I pay attention to other people at the gym during a workout is if you don't put your shit away or if you walk in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something. Never walk in front of somebody with a barbell in their hands. Walk behind them and don't talk to them. Especially if somebody is doing Olympic lifting, do not talk to them until they're done. And then even then, ask them how long their break is, because a lot of times people are on timed breaks, and you know what's really frustrating when you have a 60-second cool down between sets and you get shanghaied by somebody that wants to talk to you for 20 minutes.
Nope, we're not doing that. At the end of the day, this whole entire journey is about aging gracefully, right? Yeah. Like life's rough sometimes. I think that we all realized how rough it can be in 2020. So you make things hard. Why make things harder on yourselves than we need to? Like we really don't need to do that. Our bodies change as we get older. So maybe exercises you used to do aren't going to be the same anymore. A trainer is going to help you adjust your programming as you age and help maintain functionality and strength in your training.
Speaking of 2020 making us older, I lived through a hurricane in 2017 and made it out of that without gray hair. 2020 is the year that gave me gray hair, bro.
Actually, yeah, honestly.
Holy shit.
They just like stick straight up, like whatever. It's fine. I'm going to age gracefully.
And of course, they're always in the fucking front of your head. It's fine. I'm going to embrace being a silver fox once most of it's there, because I used to pay a lot of money to have my hair be gray.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly.
When it happens fully, I'm riding that wave. But until then,
I'm
still going to cover it up because I'm not old yet. When it comes to finding a trainer, we do have some tips and things to avoid. We've had good trainers, we've had bad trainers, everything in between. And you just want to make sure that you follow some tips, and then we're going to give you like 5 things to avoid. And if any of these trainers that you talk to do any of these 5 things, fucking cut and run.
Yeah, you can peace out.
Yeah.
Set your expectations up front. Like go into your first session knowing, or at least having an idea of what you want to get out of the programming for the most part. Or if you really honestly don't know, at least write down a few small goals that you might have to give to your coach, to give them an idea of what you're looking for, and be honest with yourself. It's not about what you want to do. It's about what you are going to do.
Yeah. It's the end goal. The first training session I ever walked into when we met Pins the first time back in 2016, I think, is when we started working with him. So I walked in and he's like, well, what do you want to do? Like, what's your end goal? And I was like, I want to be strong enough to do this shit. And I showed him videos of Kelsey Keel and Colleen Foch doing Olympic lifting. I was like, I want to do that shit. And he's like, okay, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Like, probably a couple of years, but you can do that eventually. And I was like, cool, make me fucking strong. And then we just, it started as like a bodybuilding kind of a deal. And then we went into more like powerlifting. And then we switched gears and went with a different trainer because our old trainer moved to a different gym, and rush hour in Puerto Rico is fucking insane in San Juan. And it would take an hour to get there and 45 minutes to come home. So it just wasn't worth it for us at that point. But when we switched trainers, that's when we started doing more CrossFit stuff. And that's when I really started to learn about how important like midline stabilization is.
Yeah.
How your abs control every movement you do, even when you don't think about it. Do a chest press and try to do it without bracing your abs. See what happens.
Yeah.
Your shoulders, your back, like your traps. You know how someone does a lot of pulling exercises? They have traps like fucking buses parked on either side of their neck. Like just, I can't wait to have traps that big. I'm going to be that chick that's going to walk in and they'll be like, what? You going to step on someone that looks like me? Come on. No, not really. I mean, I do want to fight people sometimes. However, not all the time. Make sure to do an intro session if you can with your first trainer.
Yeah.
Most gyms offer a free first session, so take advantage of that because you want to make sure that the person you're working with has a personality that meshes with yours. Just like your hairstylist, just like your tattoo artist, just like your doctor. Like if you're going to someone often and you're not meshing with them, it's going to be miserable for both of you.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
You want to set yourself up for success. Like, so if you're not getting along with them and personalities just aren't meshing, it's not going to hurt anybody's feelings if you need to move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
You're doing what's best for you. And at the end of the day, I think any coach wants the same for any client.
I mean, as someone that will eventually hopefully be one if I pass this shit, it wouldn't offend me at all if someone's like, you know what, you have a lot of information to offer, however we just don't click. I can respect that.
Right. You just got to be honest with yourself and with the trainer, and if it isn't working, it isn't working.
Yeah, it's okay.
Go on to the next thing.
Now, some things to avoid, because there are some things to avoid, and if any of these things happen, just leave. Just leave. You don't offer any explanation. If it's your first session, cool, just leave.
Yeah.
If you're paying somebody already, leave, call later. Anyone that makes you feel bad about yourself. So the first time I ever met with a trainer, we had free gym membership to a local, it wasn't a local gym then, it's a local gym now, so I'm not going to share the name because it's not the same company anymore. But we had a free gym membership there. So I had this awesome, like $150 a month membership to this place in Lincoln. And went to see a trainer who happened to be a friend of one of my coworkers at the radio station, which makes this doubly fucking frustrating and annoying. So I go, talk to the person. Everything's great at first. We go in and start doing the workout. They have me do pistol squats.
Ooh.
They have me do pistol squats onto a box as the first movement after 5 minutes of walking on a treadmill in my personal trainer assessment.
Wow.
Had I known anything about training then, I would have just told the guy to fuck off and I would have left right there.
Right.
So I just went on with the rest of the session. It was terrible. It was hard. I was uncomfortable the entire time and not in a good way. And I just felt like I was being judged. So we got done and we go do like the debrief, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Like we go talk and he's like, well, you're really out of shape.
That's... yeah, I would.
Shit.
Yeah.
No shit. 190 pounds of me sitting in front of you, sweating my ass off after 20 minutes of light calisthenics, I would say at best. And you're telling me that I'm out of shape. That's how you want to start this relationship. 1, that's how you want to start this relationship.
Yeah.
2, you think I'm going to fucking pay you if you talk to me like that?
Yeah.
No. It was super disappointing because it was a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And I've never mentioned that to them and I won't, and that's fine, but fuck that. If you ever go to a trainer and they talk to you like that, leave. Just leave.
Yeah. If they're speaking to you in a way that makes you uncomfortable or makes you have a reaction other than, okay, I can take your advice, like if you're uncomfortable in any way, in any situation, just leave. That isn't going to be the thing for you.
No.
And that's fine. And, then you just move on and find something else, do a little research, and you'll find something.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. This was my shower thought today because I always have a shower thought because I'm standing there shaving my legs. I got to think about something for 10 minutes, right? So like I was thinking about shame today. Shame is okay when it's internal. Like when you feel shame about yourself, cool. Use that as a motivator. We all feel shame about ourselves from time to time. If someone tries to shame you, no bueno. Don't fucking allow that. Nobody gets to shame you but yourself.
Yeah.
You're the only person that has the key to shame yourself. And even then, don't do it that much. You're allowed to feel shame, but you shouldn't browbeat yourself.
Right.
You should want to do better sometimes if you don't, succeed in something, but don't beat the shit out of yourself. And definitely don't let anybody talk to you like that. Anybody. I don't care who it is. Yeah. Anybody tries to make you feel bad about where you are, how your body is, how you feel, or how you look can fuck all the way off.
Yeah.
You don't need them.
They can just you're already like starting something that is typically uncomfortable for most people. You're starting a fitness and nutrition journey. And so if you're going to feel shame right out of the gate, you might feel some shame towards yourself anyway. But if someone else is adding to that, you can find something better. Yeah. Guarantee you.
You don't deserve that. You're worth way more than that. Yeah. And that person should not be a personal trainer.
Right. Yeah. If they're not checking in on you often enough, both mentally and physically, like you probably need to move on because it doesn't need to be a daily contact, but they should be checking in with you multiple times a week.
Yeah. And with that being said, if they do check in with you and you tell them that you have pain or discomfort or during a workout that you have pain or discomfort and they just don't seem to care or aren't listening and keep pushing you anyway, big red flag. Yeah. Big red flag.
You're just another, and I don't like to say it like this, but to them, you're just like a paycheck like that. Yeah. There are tons of trainers out there that care. They really, really care. They want to see you succeed. They take the time to really invest themselves in you and that training session. They're out there. Trust me. So if you're in that situation, you can probably find a better trainer. If they spend more time on their phone, or talking to other trainers or other people and not really paying attention, like they're like, go do this movement, but they're not actively participating and helping, then you can probably find a better trainer.
Like this is acceptable behavior for trainers. If you see, my trainers never did this, but I saw other trainers at the gym that would be on their phones constantly or talking to other trainers and their clients would come meet with them at the front desk and then go do whatever. And it's like, no, you should be out on the fucking floor with your client, dude. Right. So if a trainer is currently training more than one person at a time, acceptable behavior for them to float around. If they're going, if they're making a round around the gym and they're talking to their clients, they're doing form checks, whatever, they say hey to somebody that's coming in the door, maybe shoot the shit with a trainer for 5 seconds on their way by. Right. That's fine. Your trainer's not going to be glued to your side the entire time you're at the gym, and you don't want that either. Yeah. Because you'll both get fucking sick of each other real quick. Right. But if they're just not around, that's an issue. Yeah. That's a big issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like you can find a trainer that's going to be invested in you. And eventually they probably are going to get to the point like after a cycle or two where they're like, just check in with me and then you go do your thing because you're at that level. Cool. But if it's like your first couple sessions, like they should be with you in your session. Absolutely. They shouldn't be like meandering all over the gym.
Yeah, they shouldn't be making the rounds. If they can't or won't explain why a workout benefits you, that's a big red flag. As someone that's written training plans that kind of has an idea of what I'm doing, but am not fully which you're beta testing. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I know you hate me right now because I made you do 15 minutes of ass bike the other day.
I was like, what kind of monster schedules 15 minutes of assault bike? It's not max effort. I get it, but Christ, what are you doing? Anyway.
If you believe in God, you will see God by the end of 15 minutes on an assault bike. Trust me. But writing workouts, I try to write workouts for people. If somebody asks me for a workout, I try to custom tune whatever I have to what they need. My friend Kelsey right now, she's beta testing another program for me and she's had issues with an elbow. So it's like, okay, you're on timeout for upper body stuff. We're just going to do legs and cardio and we'll reassess that later. So you have to be able to have a coach that A, knows their programming, but B, knows how to make their programming work for you. Exactly. If they can't explain why this movement is helping you or why it's good for you, you shouldn't be paying them your money because they don't know what they're talking about.
Right. Or if they won't take the time to do that, like you need to know why. And if you're asking that question, they should be able to answer it for you.
Absolutely.
Hiring a trainer or coach doesn't have to be scary, and it shouldn't be. I get trying something new typically is going to come with a little bit of apprehension, but now that you have all the proper tools to pick the right one, it won't be. Trust me.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I've had like 6 or 7 trainers, and all but one of them has been awesome. And the one that hasn't been awesome is just because I paid them for the end of a month, and they didn't pay me, or they didn't give me workouts for the rest of the month. So that's why they're on my shit list. But otherwise, that one trainer that I had at that gym 8 years ago. 9 years ago, I don't even remember how long it was. That's the only bad trainer I've ever had. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was my first trainer, so that's why we're having this episode today, so it doesn't happen to you.
And remember, to that point, anyone that makes you feel bad about yourself isn't worth your time. Your trainer should be your biggest ally. They shouldn't be a bully in any way. And if they say or do anything to make you feel nothing but amazing for being there and embarking on this journey, don't go back to that person. You can find somebody else. In order to get the most out of utilizing a trainer, you're going to have to be honest with yourself, and you're going to have to be willing to put some work in. Obviously, like, this journey isn't easy, and it isn't easy for a reason because it requires quite a bit of work. Coaches can provide and should provide individualized training for your goals to maximize your journey on your way to attaining those goals. And don't forget how important nutrition is on this journey. When hiring a coach, they provide insight on the nutrition part of this entire deal. And don't forget that having a coach helps you keep you accountable.
It does. All of those things are things that you need to have in your toolbox if you're going on this journey, or even if you've been on this journey for a while and you just need to, add to your kit. If you have any other questions about trainers, coaches, goals, nutrition, anything really, I mean, whatever. You just want to say, hey, cool. Email us, hello@meatheadtestkitchen.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Meathead Test Kitchen, on Twitter at MTK Staff.
And as always, we are proud to be a Hurrdat Media podcast. Please follow us and like us on social media and wherever you stream your podcast. We're literally on every platform. Anywhere that you listen, if you just search Meathead Test Kitchen, you'll find us.
Not SoundCloud. You can't find my
except
SoundCloud.
For that
Sorry.
When you're all caught up with us, you can find myself hanging out with Aaron Sorensen on the Mind Your Own podcast, which is part of the Hail Varsity Network as well. Pat and JT are amazing. They're hilarious. They're wonderful. Dax and Adam with Hollywood Raw. They have amazing guests on all the time.
I'm always jealous of who they get on the show. Like, I watch their podcast videos and I'm just like, God, I love them. And I've known of Dax forever because I interned with Pat and JT, and that's how they know him from back in his TMZ days. So it's been really cool to see that evolution of their relationship go from just this the Hollywood segment on the morning show to them having their own podcast, to, Hollywood Raw having their own podcast. And Hollywood Raw is consistently a top 10 rated podcast. So
they're up there.
They have amazing guests, and
they do.
They're fucking hilarious. I love those too.
We also have a newer podcast on the network with UFC fighter Joseph Benavidez and his wife Megan O'Leary. They are at home with Ben O'Leary. Check out our newest podcast, also The Shuley Show. You may recognize him from the Howard Stern show.
Yeah, that's Stern. No big deal. That just dropped yesterday.
But you
so
can
that's
go
pretty
to
cool.
hurrdatmedia.com. The whole entire network's there. There's something for everybody.
Schick and Nick Baugh just did his March Madness, please don't sue us, March basketball tournament thing preview. So he's got all those up for the different regions. No shortage of great content if you're looking for podcasts right now. We've got a little bit of everything under the Hurrdat umbrella. It's been really cool to see that grow.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, poof, like powder keg of podcasts. It's just like, we went from a list that was like, we had a good list, and now that list has doubled, and it's just like,
great.
Damn. So be sure to check that out, hurrdatmedia.com, if you have any more questions about what we've got on our network. And that's where you can find our merch as well, the Hurrdat store. So don't know if you've heard yet, but we do have merch. It's on the way. We'll be able to show you shortly. You can check out our store at hurrdatmedia.com/shop to see what tickles your fancy, so you can rep MTK wherever you go. We love you. Have an awesome week.
Yes.
Be safe.
Stay wonderful.
Be nice to each other. Please be nice to each other.
Yeah.
We really need to work on that one.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah. MTK, out.
Join Sadie and Sausha every Monday, helping to make your fitness and nutrition journey suck less. MTK.
A Hurrdat Media Production.